Hey, my name is Kyle and welcome to DIY Buildouts. Today I'm going to show you how you can build a Pottery Barn style home entertainment center that would normally cost you $3,500 for around $300. So if you're curious how I did it, stay tuned. Diving right in here, guys, that was the former entertainment center. It was way too small and really needed to be replaced. So I went out to the table saw and I started ripping down a bunch of Baltic birch plywood to make the framing. So the first step in a project like this is to go ahead and build the square frames that you want. So in this case, I'm building 2 side panels and then I'm going to build 1 main panel that's going to be slightly larger. Well, it wouldn't be a cabinet without a toe kick, so what you're seeing here is the cabinet upside down with the toe kick getting installed. Because it's going to be weight bearing, I went ahead and added an extra cross beam for rigidity purposes. Now, to install them, I simply added glue, clamped it down, and then finished it off by mechanically fastening with pocket hole screws. So the center cabinet is 5 feet long. So with the help of my beautiful bride, we were able to lift it into place, add glue, brad nails, and then the pocket hole screws last. With the framing now complete, I went ahead and used this fancy jig to add the modular shelf pin locations. This way I can expand or move shelves as need be in the future. And just like that, we have space for shelf pins. Now that the framing was done for the center cabinet, I just needed to build a toe kick. So I went ahead and marked a line 1 inch inside around the base. Then I ripped down all the material, and here you can see me adding the glue and pocket hole screws to mechanically fasten it to the base of the unit. Now that I had all 3 cabinets framed out, it was time to rip down some material to make the face frames. So what you see here is a bunch of 1.5 inch strips being made that I'm going to glue onto the front of the units. Hiding all of those unsightly pocket hole screws is relatively easy. You simply fill in the hole with a little bit of wood glue, add a cut down dowel rod, then you can come back with a flush cut saw and trim off the excess. Any remaining gaps can be filled in with a light touch up of wood putty before you paint. After attaching all the face frames, again with wood glue and clamps, I let them cure for 24 hours, then I came back and I went to work on filling in the wood putty around all those flush cut pocket hole screws. Here you can see it's a relatively simple process to finish it off, and you'll never know those were there. I went over all the seams on the face frames as well, that way when I go and paint them they'll look like one solid piece of wood going all the way around the front of the cabinets. Now it's time to get decorative. I threw another layer of MDF on top because I like how it routes with the trim router. And so there it is before, and here it is after. Oh yeah. While putting a little trim decoration on the top looks great, I think adding a little bit of trim molding underneath really makes the unit pop. So I went ahead and I did this on all 3 units. There you saw the main cabinet getting it, now here you're going to see the side cabinet getting it. I simply used a pin nailer to affix these to the underside of the tops. For the backs of the cabinets, I just used 1/4 inch plywood and a staple gun. It was a relatively simple way to seal it all in. Now after construction was complete, the last step was to paint. So got the paint gun out, Put a couple layers of my favorite trim white molding color on there, and boom, then I took it inside.
So I got the entertainment center into my living room, but one thing I noticed is that the centerpiece here doesn't push back against the wall flush. And that is simply because all the electrical is behind there. I use a side socket wall outlet that plugs into the double outlet, and then the cords come out each side of that. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna rip this panel right here, a big square opening, so the electrical is on the inside of the cabinet. The cabinet can sit against the wall, and then when the cabinet doors go on the front of this, it's all gonna be nice and seamless, but it'll be actually easier to plug in electrical when that electricity or the electrical outlet is inside the cabinet and that backing's removed. So we'll get modifying on that now.
Now with that opening cut out, here's one final look before we go ahead and put these beautiful cabinet doors on. The easiest way I've found to install cabinet doors is by marking down the top location. In this case I wanted 3.5 inches from the top for the upper bracket, put the screw in, and then the bottom one automatically falls into place. Now because I have real wood floors that have a little warp to them, I'm going ahead and I'm adding a trim piece to the bottom. This trim piece actually follows the contour of the floor and not the cabinetry unit itself. This way the cabinetry unit looks like it is completely seamless and built in to the house. So it's just a nice little touch. Again, it's 1/4 inch round over with pin nails holding it in place. So with everything looking good, now the last thing we have to do is install the cabinet hardware. So the AKA cabinet pull's going on. To install the cabinet hardware, I use this nice jig which has a fence along the side, allowing me to push it up against the side of the panel, and then it has 2 pilot hole locations that I can simply drill through. I put a backer board behind as well to prevent tear out when I'm drilling. Then, once I have the holes, all I do is press the screws through and install the cabinet hardware as normal. So here's one more quick look at before to refresh your memory, and what it looks like after. Way, way better.
Okay guys, that's all for this one. Thanks for watching. If you haven't already done so, hit that subscribe button below, and if you want to be notified of future projects when I upload, hit that bell icon as well. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the notes below. I'd love to hear from you. And finally, if you want to know how I built these cabinet doors, check out the link in the description below because I broke that into a separate video. All right, thanks again guys. Have a wonderful day.